Some customers of the St. Kitts Nevis Anguilla National Bank on Friday were in panic mode. The bank reported in a press release on Friday that there was an IT security incident, but that there is no theft of funds from the bank. As a precautionary measure, the bank said it took its system offline, which resulted in customers experiencing longer wait times in the branch. The bank said all funds are secure and asked customers to use the ATMs and point-of-sales machines across the Federation to access their funds and complete electronic transactions. They also extended opening hours on Friday to 5 p.m. The bank said as soon as they became aware of the issue, they launched an urgent investigation, which is ongoing. This is progressing as an absolute priority, and we are working diligently to get our systems back online and to restore our normal level of service as soon as possible, the release added. They apologized to customers for the inconvenience caused and promised to inform them of relevant updates as appropriate. Some customers reported to not being able to access ATM or online services Friday, but were later able to access the ATM. Long lines persisted at banks' outlets in Bastyr. One customer told Skn Newsline he was able to do transactions in the bank, but was informed by the bank that his passbook would be updated at a later date. Skn Newsline will continue to monitor this story and provide updates as they become available. I'm Andre Huey for Skn Newsline. Businessman Romain Belgrove says nothing much has happened since he first complained about the hazards of a container structure that was erected next to his business. Mr. Belgrove reported the matter to the planning department late December. The department confirmed that it contacted Mr. Othniel Heiliger, the owner of the property and business next to Mr. Belgrove's, informing him about the container structure and that a letter would have been sent to him. But according to Mr. Belgrove, that was all he was told by planning, and he has not been able to get any indication that concrete actions will be taken to have the structure removed.
Because since the official complaint and since the last report that we did here, I haven't seen anybody come here to say anything to me. Nobody has really reached out and let me know what the position is with the situation. There's one guy, well, I called a guy at the building board and I asked him a question and he gave me an answer, but it wasn't really nothing too much to go on. Another guy who worked there, he just reached out and he told me that they would be having a meeting and he would try to find out what the outcome is and get back to me. But other than that, nobody really came and officially said anything to me and said, well, this is the procedure and this is going to happen, that's going to happen. Nothing. And as you can see behind me there, the container is still there. And from what I gathered, is that the owner for the container, he refused to move it. He said he's not going to comply. And he was waiting a letter, so I don't know what happened after the letter. I'm still waiting to find out.
Mr. Belgrove said he has not spoken to Mr. Heiliger about the structure as they are not on good terms. He described to Skn Newsline what transpired after our last story was published on the matter.
I prefer not to say anything to him. He's the kind of person that you don't really want to talk to too much because he has a stubborn attitude, if I must say. And at this point of time in my life, I'm trying to be at peace and I'm not trying to get in anything with him. So before I speak to him and the conversation go down the wrong road, I prefer not to talk to him. I left the dog bowl out one afternoon and I come the next morning. I see he tried to cast some concrete to say that he is strengthening the underneath area for the bottom container. And I know he deliberately cast in the dog bowl, so I had to go and get another dog bowl, and that is the length this guy is willing to go. He's even taking it out of my dog, casting my dog bowl for no reason. He could have just moved the bowl out of the way, but he willfully cast it in. So I just decided not to say anything to him because to me, it's like he's trying to irritate me. He's trying to get to me for me to do something stupid.
Several calls by Skn Newsline to the planning department went unanswered, and Mr. Heiliger has since told Skn Newsline he did not want to comment on the matter. Mr. Belgrove said his only option at this stage is to pursue all legal means to have the matter addressed. In the meantime, he and his staff at his tire shop are working with caution.
The container is still there over our heads and it is dangerous. I have workers coming here, I have customers coming here, and some of them have expressed their concern about it. People meet me on the streets all the time and ask me, what about the container, if it moved yet? And sadly I have to tell them, no, it ain't moved and it ain't seem like it's gonna move no time soon. All we could do really is just to look and listen, because most of the times when we're under the shed working or we're in the workshop working, we can't see. So we just have to keep ears out. If we hear any funny noise or any rumbling, we just got to try to safeguard ourselves and probably just get out of there in quick time before anything happens. I mean, we know from time to time we have some little tremors and stuff like that, and God forbid we have a little tremor and we don't know what's happening on the outside, and then the container fall while people under the shed or in the workshop. I mean, these are the kind of things that we have to talk about. My concern is the safety of myself, my workers, and my customers. Them.
Andre Huey, Skn Newsline. The National AIDS Secretariat in St. Kitts and Nevis hosted Operation Safe Streets, Safe Sheets at Independence Square on Friday to provide persons the opportunity to learn their HIV status. Skn Newsline visited the event and spoke to Minister of Health Anguilla Nisbeth.
Well, of course, we have to make sure that we know our status, HIV status. We have to make sure that we keep those numbers down. We know that we are in the pandemic, and the pandemic has been getting a bit of an airplay more than the HIV. But we want to remind persons that HIV/AIDS is still real, it's still an epidemic, and we have to make sure that we keep it under control. So the whole point of today is to ensure that persons get to know their status and come out and make sure that you, before you go out and have any fun, let's put it that way, that you know what your status is, so you protect not just yourself, but you also protect whoever you will be engaging in sexual activity with. And so the whole point of today is just to continue to sensitize persons to the fact that HIV/AIDS is real. It is still there, and it's up to you to determine whether or not you keep yourself and your partner safe. And so I'm so happy that the Health Promotion Unit continues to ensure that this type of event continues. Operation Safe Sheet, Safe Street is just our way in the Ministry of Health in making sure that in St. Kitts and Nevis we are able to keep the numbers of HIV/AIDS cases low.
While not providing numbers, the minister gave an update on the state of HIV/AIDS in the Federation.
Well, we're still seeing, it doesn't matter if it's 1 or 100. That's the way that we look at it in health. So for us, it's important to keep our numbers as close to 0 as possible. But we're following the WHO and our recommendation that we're making sure that we know our status. At least 90% of the persons who are infected know that they are infected. At least 90% of the persons get the care that they need, and that we're able to maintain that. And so we do not just look at the raw statistics. We just want to make sure that everybody remains safe.
Andre Huey, Skn Newsline.
At a recent NEOC COVID-19 briefing, Police Superintendent Cromwell Henry raised concern over failure of organizers and people at funerals and weddings to follow COVID-19 safety protocols. Both events share the same physical distancing, sanitization, and mask wearing protocol requirements, as well as time limits on the events. Superintendent Henry said concern was raised by the Chief of Police about the significant failure of people and organizers to ensure the required physical distancing and the wearing of masks was done. The police superintendent warned organizers of funerals and weddings to enforce the COVID-19 safety protocols at every event.
We understand that funerals are a time for mourning the loss of a loved one, and they are necessary. However, the virus does not respect the occasion, and persons not taking precaution are at risk, even at a funeral. The COVID-19 Act sets out the protocols to be followed at funerals and weddings. Section 11 states, a person may attend a funeral, except that the funeral shall have a maximum duration not exceeding 1 hour. The seating arrangements shall allow for a minimum of 6 feet between persons, and distance markers must indicate where each person must sit. The total number of persons that may be permitted to attend inside of the building is 1 person for every 30 square feet. That is 6 feet by 5 feet. Similar protocols apply for weddings. We are asking that funeral undertakers, wedding planners, pastors, and other church leaders pay particular attention to these protocols that are stipulated by law and ensure that these services are compliant with the laws, as they are intended to prevent the spread of the virus. In addition to the physical distancing protocol, the venue must be sanitized prior to the service and persons entering or attending must have their hands sanitized, and every person must wear a face mask for the duration of the event.
Additionally, persons having wedding receptions must seek permission to do so. The request should be made at the website www.police.kn. Glenn Barrett, Skn Newsline.
February is Black History Month. Each day on our newscast, Skn Newsline will be highlighting Black iconic Caribbean people who have made a valuable contribution to our societies. Kim Collins is a former track and field sprinter from St. Kitts and Nevis. In 2003, he became the world champion in the 100 meters, representing St. Kitts and Nevis at the Summer Olympics on 5 occasions from 1996 to 2016, and was the country's first athlete to reach an Olympic final. He competed at 10 editions of the World Championships in athletics from 1995 to 2015, winning 5 medals. He was twice runner-up in the 60 meters at the IAAF World Championships 2003 and 2008. At regional level, he was a gold medalist at the Commonwealth Games and a silver medalist at the Pan American Games. Collins holds a personal best of 9.93 seconds for the 100 meters, which is St. Kitts and Nevis national record and M40 world record for men over 40. This makes him the only man over 40 years of age to break the 10-second barrier. His indoor personal best of 6.47 seconds for the 60 meter is a national record and an M35 world record. August 25th was declared Kim Collins Day by the government of St. Kitts and Nevis in honor of Collins' gold medal at the World Championships in Paris, France in 2003.
The SKN Newsline website now offers you more news. Log on to www.sknnewsline.com for local, regional, and international news. You can also watch the latest newscast and keep abreast with news in sports, all from sknnewsline.com. That's www.sknnewsline.com. News at your fingertips.
For 2021, Smart Electronics is giving you the best deals you can ever imagine. From January 1st until April 30th, you will get the best deals in the entire federation. Plus, that's not all. Get extra special deals on Valentine's Day on all items store-wide, such as cell phones, 85 inches smart TVs, laptops, washing machines, refrigerators, AC units, small appliances, and much more. Visit us. We're located at Port Zante, opposite the food court, or call us at 466-4271. This promotion is valid until April 30th. Terms and conditions apply.
Caribana on Liverpool Row is your anything you want store in St. Kitts. They have a wide variety of just about everything. Ladies and men's clothing, shoes, children's clothing, toys, housewares of all kinds, small appliances like clothes heaters, microwaves, electric kettles, and more. Cosmetics, perfumes, cosmetic jewelry, and much, much more. Their prices are unbeatable, and customer service is second to none. Shop at Caribana on Liverpool Row Bastair. Call 465-1745. At Caribana, find value supplies at great prices.
I feel good.
Come to Vibes Beach Bar and Grill at the Frigate Bay Strip, your place for the best selection of local dishes. Join us for lunch. Mahi-mahi, barbecue ribs, fresh caught snapper, salmon, lobster, and our world-famous Vibes wings at economically sound prices. Dinner is served from the deck or the golden sands of the Frigate Bay Beach. Join us for birthdays, business meetings, or just for fun in a family-friendly environment. Open daily from 11 a.m. Vibes Beach Bar and Grill. Great food, hospitality, entertainment, and good vibes. Call 465-8423 for reservations and inquiries.
I feel good.
One day after 3,000 doses of the AstraZeneca vaccine arrived in Guyana, compliments of the government of Barbados, scores of frontline healthcare workers and senior officers of the Georgetown Public and Infectious Diseases hospitals queued up to receive their inoculation as a form of protection against COVID-19, which continues to bring Guyana to its knees. The historic vaccination drive commenced at the Georgetown Public Hospital, where Brunette Bernerai, a pharmacist, was administered the inaugural jab in the presence of Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony and other health officials. Describing the event as a historic moment, the Health Minister said it marks the beginning of a turnaround of the pandemic in Guyana.
Our intention is to ensure that we reach herd immunity, which means that over the next couple of months that we would be able to secure enough vaccines. So most of the adult population here in Guyana would be able to get those vaccines. We are extremely pleased that to initiate this process.
He noted that healthcare providers at the Georgetown Public Hospital were specifically targeted in the first wave, since the institution has been the epicenter of the almost year-long fight to contain the spread of the disease.
They have been the ones where the most severe patients have been coming here, and they have been interacting with these patients. So the staff here is more at risk for contracting COVID-19.
Altogether, the ministry is aiming to immunize 22,000 healthcare workers from both public and private institutions, with additional vaccines that are expected to arrive later this month and in March. The vaccination campaign was simultaneously launched at the Infectious Diseases Hospital at Liliendal, East Coast, Demerara. After taking his first dose at the facility, Director of Medical and Professional Services, Dr. Fawcett Jeffrey, explained that it was quite painless.
Taking the vaccine, it wasn't painful. It was like any other little stick. You will feel that there was a stick, and there's no pain at all associated with it.
Another recipient of the vaccine, Dr. Dave Prasad, a medical registrar who has worked in the COVID-19 intensive care unit for the past 10 months, opined that the vaccine is indeed a game changer in the battle against the pandemic.
Certainly life-saving. As you rightly said, I would have seen patients with severe forms of it, and I can tell you it's very sad to see so many people die in front of you for something that potentially is preventable. Of course, we are still to maintain all of the different recommendations as it relates to how we interact with each other, but now to additionally have a vaccine, hopefully this would help curb the pandemic.
Although the AstraZeneca vaccine is yet to be recommended for an emergency use listing by the World Health Organization, it has undergone review by the European Medicines Agency and consequently meets WHO's criteria for Strategic Advisory Group of Experts, SAGE, consideration. The World Health Organization says Oxford's coronavirus vaccine is safe and likely to be efficacious in older adults, and recommends that the vaccine doses be administered at an 8 to 12-week interval in people aged 18 years and older. Tamika Rodney reporting for the HGB Nightly News.
Corporal Clifton Common and two other police officers detained the man in a marked police vehicle just before 8 a.m. Thursday morning in front of the Masonic Temple on St. John Street. The officers did this with the help of one of the detainees' relatives. Shortly afterward, the vehicle collided with a motor car at the junction of St. John's and Cross Streets, about 260 feet away from where they detained the man. The EMS technicians reported two of the officers complained of shoulder and back pains, and they were taken to the hospital and subsequently discharged. It is not clear whether the man they detained sustained any injuries during the collision, and he was later taken to the St. John's police lockup. Later in the afternoon, in a cell at the St. John's station, a confrontation ensued between Corporal Common and the detainee. A statement from the police confirmed that the law enforcers are investigating the circumstances surrounding the death of Corporal Common. They say he was injured in the line of duty by a male detainee at around 1 p.m. and was taken to the Mount St. John's Medical Center and was pronounced dead around 2:25 p.m. When our cameras arrived at St. John's Police Station, teary-eyed officers were consoling each other as the detainee was still present in a cell. Shortly afterward, officers arrived for the detainee behind the closed gate. About 4 gunshots rang out before the vehicle emerged with the detainee and police officers in the back of a pickup. The circumstances surrounding the gunshots being fired are not clear. Cellular phone video has emerged of the moment officers arrived with the detainee at the hospital, shackled and dressed as he was picked up earlier in the morning. Terry Andrew, ABS News.
This is Dr. Bonnie Graham.
After a laboratory briefing by scientists at the National Institutes of Health, President Joe Biden announced a major new increase in coronavirus vaccine is on the way.
Just this afternoon, we signed final contracts for 100 million more Moderna and 100 million more Pfizer vaccines. We're also able to move up the delivery dates with an additional 200 million vaccines to the end of July, faster than we expected.
So far, at least 33 million people in the U.S. have gotten at least their first dose of vaccine, and more than 10 million have gotten a second shot. Biden says his administration is on track to exceed his promise of 100 million doses in its first 100 days. And his chief medical advisor says approximately 300 million Americans will be vaccinated by July or August.
By the time we get to April, that will be what I would call, for better wording, open season. Namely, virtually everybody and anybody in any category could start to get vaccinated. From then on, it would likely take several more months just logistically to get vaccine into people's arms, so that hopefully as we get into the middle and end of the summer, we could have accomplished the goal of what we're talking about.
Biden said the government has spent $3 billion to set up vaccine centers in states across the country. Still, governors say they haven't got enough vaccine to keep up with demand.
People are going to continue to struggle to get an appointment, as we've said over and over and over again at probably the last 8 press conferences. You can't schedule an appointment if you don't have a vaccine.
So we were under the distinct impression there was...
Biden praised the scientists at NIH, but said the former president left him with what he called a big mess.
My predecessor, to be very blunt about it, did not do his job in getting ready for the massive challenge of vaccinating hundreds of millions of Americans. He didn't order enough vaccines. He didn't mobilize enough people to administer the shots. He didn't set up federal vaccine centers where eligible people could go and get their shots. When I became president 3 weeks ago, America had no plan to vaccinate most of the country.
Meanwhile, congressional leaders say a $1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief and recovery package, including $20 billion for vaccine distribution, will be ready for Biden to sign into law by early March. Rob Reynolds, Al Jazeera.
Sheikh Wissam Asadi from Iraq's community police is following up a case of domestic violence in the capital, Baghdad.
We are on our way to Sadr City to visit families that suffered from domestic violence. Do you copy?
According to police, there's been a 20% increase in domestic violence since the start of the coronavirus pandemic. Sadr City is one of Baghdad's poorest neighborhoods and is said to be among the worst affected. Doha Sabah has been married for 18 years. She says her husband began beating her last year.
There are problems with the house. When it rains, it gets flooded. We don't have an income. The kids need to go to school and I cannot afford it. Whenever I talk to him about the issue, he beats me and the kids.
Doha called the community police, which is part of the Ministry of Interior, to intervene.
It reached the point where they were going to divorce and the family would break up. We intervene in any issues to unite the family to prevent the breakup of families, which may lead to tribal conflicts.
To solve the case, the unit worked closely with local tribes. The community police claims to have a 90% success rate in resolving domestic abuse cases. But critics say the unit reinforces conservative social norms, prioritizing reconciliation over victims' rights. Lawyers say many women drop cases against partners because of lack of money and social pressure.
The social values and customs consider it shameful for the woman to file a complaint against her husband or brother. Even if she did file a case, as soon as her family hears about it, she will drop it.
And victims often have nowhere to go anyway. There's one government-run shelter in Baghdad, but it only provides accommodation on a judge's order. Some women seeking urgent refuge turn to rights groups that run underground operations. This woman endured her husband's abuse for more than 20 years.
We have tribal rules. If the woman left her husband's house or her parents' house, she will be killed.
The tipping point was when he began to sexually harass their daughters. One night, they crept out of their home and came to this shelter.
The law doesn't protect me. Maybe they will find my location. I'm scared to sleep at night. I'm afraid of the tribes.
Although these shelters offer a lifeline to women escaping abuse, they have to operate in secret because they're illegal under Iraqi law. Last year, the government filed a lawsuit against the group that runs it, accusing it of breaking up families.
The cabinet demanded to dissolve the organization. We managed through repeated sessions to get the law case dismissed, but the government appealed, and now we are waiting to find a solution.
The Prime Minister's office didn't respond to repeated requests for comment. A domestic violence law that would legalize these shelters has been stalled in Parliament for years amid widespread political opposition. Until such a law is passed, rights groups say, Iraqi women will struggle to escape abuse at home. Simona Fultin, Al Jazeera, Baghdad.
The 2019-2020 football season ended on a high note in December 2020. Despite an almost 7-month break in the season due to the COVID-19 lockdown and restrictions across the federation, the season resumed in September and moved into the inaugural Super 6 playoffs in late November. Fast forward to December when the SL Horswood St. Paul's FC lifted the much-coveted Premier League title. In the lead-up to the start of the 2021 football season, we'll be profiling the teams in the Premier League and what we can expect from them this year. We begin with the Premier League champions, St. Paul's FC. St. Paul's FC won the 5th Premier League title in December. For some fans, this may not be a surprise considering that St. Paul's is a perennial playoff contender and has a wealth of experience mixed with some youthful agility. But in a season when Rams Village superstars were red hot, coming off a botched season the year before, most probably felt the title was Village's to lose. But St. Paul's probably would not have ascended to the top had it not been for this man, Keith Roy Freeman.
Heads go up in the back of the net. St. Paul's! St. Paul's! Freeman it looks like, but Freeman is free. You don't want Freeman free. He gets on the player. He bangs it at goal. He hits it in the back of the net. Freeman! Superman! Goal!
Freeman had a monster season. He won the most Man of the Match awards in the playoffs, the MVP for the playoffs, he was the Golden Boot winner for the regular season, and the highest goal scorer in the inaugural Super 6 playoffs. It's no wonder his coach, Iroy Kunga Jeffers, sang his praises.
He's just a genius right now, the man on top. So we have to give him the praise right now.
Football analyst LaShawn Dixon of the St. Kitts Nevis Observer pointed to the importance of Freeman to the St. Paul's team.
He was by far and wide the best player in the Premier Division last season. He scored goals, he set up goals, he led his team from the front, he led his team in performances, and for me, those awards were definitely deserved. He seemed like a man possessed and a man willing to put his body on the line for SL Horswood St. Paul's, and it definitely brings up the question, why is he not in the national team, or will he be in the next national team for the World Cup qualifiers? But based on his performances, he ought to be, in my opinion.
The season St. Paul's had was a phenomenal one, winning the FA Cup along the way. This was due to their defensive strengths and their prowess going forward. Key to their title defense would be keeping the core they have, while strengthening by adding other players. A major transfer rumor suggests that Vince Roy Nelson of Keon will be joining St. Paul's. If that is true, he will add much needed firepower to support Freeman, making them an unstoppable force.
So if they could pair the top two strikers in the Premier Division on the same team, I think it's a dangerous combination for the rest of the league.
SL Horswood St. Paul's, a team to look out for in the 2021 SKNFA Premier League football season.
Stay abreast with news on St. Martin with SMN News. Visit www.smn-news.com for up-to-date news, scoops, opinions, and hard-hitting facts. SMN News, we tell it like it is. Visit our website www.smn-news.com.
It's the new and improved Skn Newsline Android mobile app. With the Skn Newsline app, you can watch your news reports, the Skn Newsline Newscast, sports, special features, and so much more. You can also send us a WhatsApp or call us directly. Go in the Google Play Store, search Skn Newsline, and download the app today. The Skn Newsline mobile app. News on the go. For the finest in pastries and baked products, your only choice has to be Bryants Bakery, located on Main Street, New Road, St. Peters. They offer the best in breads, cakes, cheesecakes, cupcakes, cookies, and much more. Visit their cafe and savor breakfast sandwiches, coffee, espresso, and ice cream. Bryants Bakery also specializes in a variety of healthy breads, cakes, cookies, pies, and pastries for all your special events. Call 667-1505. Opening hours 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday to Saturday and 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Sundays for Ice Cream Sundays. Bryants Bakery, simply the best.
Banners, commercial signs, decal printing, canvas prints, license plates, posters. We at Multigraphics are dedicated to providing quality products and service to our customers. Our team takes pride in the craftsmanship and is passionate about its work. Every job, large or small, is important. Most of our customers come to us through referrals. That's because our number one priority is service. We serve a wide variety of customers, such as restaurants, retail stores, manufacturers, trucking companies, and many more. Our capabilities include design, production, and installation. How can we help? We are located at Bird Rock at the Woods Right compound. Call us at 869-763-1511 or 784-491-7599. Multigraphics.
On behalf of management and staff of Auto Plus, we want to wish you a Happy New Year and a prosperous 2021.
Located on the College Street Gut, Bastille St. Kitts. Bring your car to Auto Plus Car Wash to remove water stains, wiper marks. Get your doors, roof panel cleaned, seat floor mats, buffing, headlights, and engine wash. You get quality service at the best price at Auto Plus Car Wash. They really care for your car. Call 765-5140 or visit them on the College Street Gut, Bastille St. Kitts. Auto Plus Car Wash, where the service is number one.